Hello and welcome to Chapter 192 of DC Alliance Podcast. With me, as always, is Joe. Joe, how you doing today?
Travis, I have been a very, very busy boy. Um, Obviously, when we get talking about Patreon, I'll talk about that. But that's been one of my busyness stuff. But I've also been kind of whoring myself out to a couple other podcasts.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So I'm
Okay.
gonna give a couple shout outs, a couple uh you know recommending some shows. I'm gonna be on this week because I don't know exactly when he drops them. I think he said he's gonna try to do it tomorrow, but maybe Wednesday. A podcast called We Live. It
Okay.
is these two people who live on an island in the Pacific Northwest during the zombie apocalypse, and they are putting out a morning show and like talking to people. And I am a guest on the show. Did a interview the other day, so that will be fun.
Okay.
Maybe I survived a zombie attacking me. Maybe I survived a ghost attacking me. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. You have to listen to find out. Um, and then I also provide my voice for another podcast that should be coming out in sometime next month. And when I get more details on that, I will bring that up as well.
Okay. That's so We Live is the
We
podcast.
live. Yep,
Okay.
Zombie Carnival. It's a fun little morning show. The first few episodes are rough.
Tends to be that
Everybody's
way
first podcasts are
for
rough.
most podcasts.
But like the last handful have been more cohesive. They're actually like the stories kind of coming together and they're going out. There's only 15 or 16 episodes out at the moment.
Oh, so it's easy
So
to play catch up too.
yeah, hour and a half long, give or take. Like it's not terrible. It is currently only on Spotify and iTunes.
Okay.
I meant to talk to him about putting it out, like getting the RSS feed and putting it out somewhere else. But as of right now, it's just on, like, I can get it on Spotify, and that's where I've been listening to it. So if you want to hear more of me, go over to We Live on Spotify.
Please check those out, like Joe said. Well, check the first one out and be on the lookout for the second one.
Yeah, but how are you
Joe,
doing, Travis? How was your weekend?
not as exciting. Just basically the baby turned 6 months old.
Yeah,
Bought him a jolly jumper. He loved it. So that was basically the
those things are fun.
highlight of my weekend. I haven't had a chance to catch up on Ahsoka yet, which is killing me. It's a hot topic at work in the office. So
May want to get
uh,
that watched before Friday.
yeah,
Just saying.
it's on the list of things to do after I get through the first couple days of this week. Not much else really, Joe. Just taking it easy. I was on baby watch, like I was telling you before this. Mom had volleyball, so I was watching, put the baby to bed, and just had to watch out. There's a chance if her game's been a little later, I might have had to have the monitor here in my hand, but she's back, so all thumbs up there, and ready to talk to you about some DC and some DC Alliance changes. If
Yeah.
you're listening to Marvel Alliance, which I want to
And
give them a
watching the
shout out.
multiverse.
Want to give Marvel Alliance a shout out because I was on there the last 2 weeks. Really enjoyable time with Chris. Brent asked me to sub. I had to sub in last week, and Brent already asked me quite a ways in advance for the
Mm-hmm.
past week. So it was a fun time. Slow on the news front, but at least they have some things coming forward. So always a fun time. Check those guys out. So Joe, I'm gonna get the network plugs out of the way. Probably the last time I have to remember them this way. So, spoiler. We are part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance with 7 shows in total. On Mondays is bi-weekly is Ranger Alliance. On Tuesdays is DC Alliance. On Wednesdays is the Animation Nation. On Thursdays is Star Wars Alliance. On Fridays is Marvel Alliance. On Saturdays, bi-weekly is a walk through the multiverse. And Sundays, monthly is World's Finest True Believers. DC Alliance goes live on the Geekverse YouTube channel Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Star Wars Alliance goes live Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and Marvel Alliance goes live Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. All three of those shows also do their own podcast feeds. Search Marvel Alliance, DC Alliance, or Star Wars Alliance if you just want Marvel content, DC content, or Star Wars content only. But if you want all 8 shows on the GUA Podcast Network, stay subscribed to the GUA on your podcast app of choice. We also have a Patreon, 2 tiers, a $1 tier, and a $5 tier. $1 tier is basically a tip jar like we're doing. You want to help us out any way you can. And the $5 tier is where you get your extras. You get your ad-free episodes, early access episodes, and Patreon exclusive episodes like myself and Joe, the DC Alliance guys, going through all the DC films through the years from Batman 66 forward. We also have the Marvel Alliance guys, Chris and Brant, doing their Infinity Saga rewatch, covering all the entirety of the Infinity Saga. We have Joel's Multiverse Minutes, which is kicking into high gear, coming into the Halloween month. Joe, take it away, talking about your exclusive Patreon month.
Yeah, so doing my 30 plus days of Halloween again. It just started. We are 2 days in. Yesterday, I had dropped The Mummy from 1959, starring Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, which is pretty awesome. If you guys know those names, if you're a Star Wars fan, you should know those names. Be doing a lot of their movies this year. I'll just give that as a hint. And then today I dropped the 1978 classic, Halloween. I had thoughts.
I think I had thoughts. I think we have to listen to those. I'm really interested in your Halloween, the franchise thoughts.
It's gonna be
look. I may wait until they're all done and then go one to one. I think it'd be really hilarious to listen to the saga of going through them. So
I mean, I have Halloween Kills. I think Halloween Kills is the last one that will be dropping on Halloween. So if you're gonna wait, you'll be waiting a whole month.
I don't have that patience. I think I'm going to listen to them one by one as they come out. Good sell there, Joe. But again, that's the exclusive content on Patreon. We thank everyone that's a patron. But if you're not a patron, if you take a quick 30 to 60 seconds to rate and review the podcast on your podcast app of choice, it's greatly appreciated and helps other people find the show. And that's always a good thing. Joe, that's it. I think, like I just alluded to, that was the last time I will say the network plugs like that. I'm going to mess up quite a few times going forward because we have 100%. Some change. We have some changes, Joe. And like Joe said, if you listen to Marvel Alliance or Walk the Verse,
this past multiverse, say it right.
Walk through the multiverse. I'm sorry. I'm so used to putting in the Twitter handle.
I understand. No, I get it. You're Chris, and Chris, I know you're listening, and it's no slight against either one of you. But every time you guys say it, walk the verse, I'm like,
Absolutely, because you could be like Songverse. You could say Songverse. Yeah, you're right. From now on, it'll be walk through the multiverse for me. Don't worry, I'm still walk the multiverse. Walk through the multiverse. So yeah, if you listen to either of those, Joe and Chris already eloquently broke down the changes. But since we're on DC Alliance, and DC Alliance is going to change as well, Joe, I'd like for you to take the floor because you were instrumental in pulling this all together as I was sleeping and the time difference. You did. We talked about this beforehand, listeners. We agreed.
We've been, if you have been listening for a while, we've been hinting at it for some time. We've talked about it on mic. We've talked about it off mic. It turns out that DC content drops Thursdays usually. Like not just shows or movies, trailers. Like we're about to talk about a trailer later on in this episode. 2 weeks in a row, they both dropped on a Thursday.
Yes.
So behind the scenes, we were talking. Chris reached out because of Loki coming out. He asked about me moving a Walk Through the Multiverse so that they could have the show on Fridays, drop it on Saturdays, and then I would basically move Thursday, drop Friday. And in my head, I'm like, this just makes perfect sense. You and I have been talking about it a lot. I think actually like right after we were done last week, we had mentioned something again off mic.
We mentioned it before the summer because after we were done talking after an episode, I went and mentioned it to Snell saying, I think we're thinking of changing, but again, there's nothing going on right now.
Yeah.
It's slow. It's like tumbleweeds for news. So it's no point in doing it right now. Sometime before Aquaman, I think we'll like to change. And Snell even threw out the Friday idea of a possibility for us.
Yeah, because then I think he also reached out to me at the same time about moving my show to a Monday, or Sunday or something. I can't remember what exactly.
Mhm.
And so ultimately, what came about is communication between you and me, myself and Chris, and then us with Snell. What we're going to be doing, and we mentioned it on Marvel. I mentioned it on the Walk Through the Multiverse. A Walk Through the Multiverse will be dropping Tuesdays now, starting next week, because I'm going to be covering Gen V, the boys spinoff, on Amazon Prime, because that's going to be going weekly. I'll be able to cover it weekly, and that will give the Tuesday slot, something coming out.
Mhm.
And then we will be moving to Thursday for right now,
Yay!
going live Thursday night, episodes dropping Friday. While Loki is out, because Marvel Alliance is going to be going live Friday night, dropping episodes Saturday. So once Loki's done, Marvel and DC will swap. So Marvel will be back on Thursdays, DC will be on Fridays, with a Friday, Saturday drop respectively. Also, on top of all that, I added in the notes about A Walk to the Multiverse going the weekly with Gen V. I kind of forgot that Invincible is dropping November 3rd, which is also the final day of the season finale of Gen V. So I might be extending that weekly for a little bit longer. That's assuming
Mhm.
in Invincible drops weekly, because if I remember correctly, they had talked about dropping 4 episodes at once,
Yeah.
giving a break until January. So I don't know. We will see what happens.
At the very least, you will be covering that right after Gen V, which is pretty
If
pretty
well,
couple of really awesome shows.
if anything, I may drop, like, I'll do Gen V and an Invincible, like episode 1 of Invincible, same day, maybe 2 episodes, and then go if it all drops at once, because I don't want to try and do if 4 episodes on 1 episode is gonna be tough. Um, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. We've got some time, but until then,
If
yeah.
you
So
just spitballing in the air, if you want to do that, Invincible, you can have me on to do the first 4 episodes with you, and you can drop it on a Wednesday, which would be fine. Just have the Animation Nation crossover with
just
you, and
I mean, hey,
you
that's
just
also
take my
possible
date
too.
for that too.
But
So
because it's 4, if it's 4 episodes, an hour long a piece, it's gonna be a lot to cover. So
yes,
that might
yes.
be one of those things where we'll split it up. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Obviously, you're more welcome to come on, of
Oh, I
course.
will be there.
No.
I'm already in the StreamYard broadcast studio waiting for you. You don't have it made yet, obviously, but
Yes, a little early. But yeah, so Walk Through the Multiverse will be going Tuesdays, DC Alliance Thursdays for now, Marvel Alliance Fridays for now.
yeah. So, like Joe said, I'm super happy about this. We have so many times we've gotten the short end of the stick when it comes to the news. James Gunn announcement was on a Wednesday, I think.
Well, and
We
like
have to do special episodes, and that's hard to bring both of us together at the same time.
exactly.
And again, Friday is a good time to do this. Now we're going to shoot for the same time, but that could be we could end up doing a little bit earlier. And obviously, there is a movie hiccup as well. The movie reviews are on Friday nights, but
Hmm.
that's fine. We can
That
either
hiccups. That's an easy like
well,
swap.
we don't
Like
have to
that's
worry
not
about Star Wars
for
Alliance
now.
for a long time when it comes to a Star Wars film. Like
Yeah,
like they're almost in
but
DC's territory.
With Marvel Alliance and
Just
Marvel
kidding, Star Wars.
movies, it's no, you're not. Those movies are coming out a lot more than DC.
Yeah,
So like we've got one movie next year.
yeah. But where the guys have their do their show at 9 p.m.
9.
Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern. We could always go earlier that Friday, depending on the topic, the conversation, what's there. It all
It
depends.
we'll figure it out. I mean,
We'll figure it
it
out.
all just depends, because I also know, I still got to work next day usually,
Yeah,
so we'll see.
yeah. So we don't want to do it. Like we'll figure that out. That we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But like Joe said, as of now, we're going Thursdays while Marvel Alliance covers Loki, and then we're going
Yep.
to switch to Fridays. I'm excited, and we'll be covering Doom Patrol. Don't worry, while
Yes, sir.
Loki
And
goes on.
I mean, that was having a Thursday drop. That's gonna be a quick turnaround for us, but we got this.
We got this. I was just about to say. I think we both can handle getting that episode watched before we go live.
Mm.
Or hopefully,
should. Yeah.
bearing any incidents. Yeah,
Worst
like I have
case,
a
worst
6
case.
month
I'm
child there.
watching it as we're recording.
Yeah,
So
have it up there. At least you can talk about it then. Like, oh, yeah.
like, oh, hey, that thing
Uh,
happened.
but I think that's a pretty good prelude into our what would have been our normally our main topic, but is our second topic because of the changes for DC Alliance. Joe, we finally got season 4B. They're calling it trailer and a release date. Max officially unveiled, so this was official. So maybe there was rumors that it was coming out at this point in time, because Joe has been confident with me, even behind the scenes, that this is coming out in October. And
They said it like months ago. I
I couldn't
am
find
positive
anything.
they said it months ago.
I looked for it. I couldn't find anything, but I'm like, it came up and it was October. I was like, it must have
Okay,
been
okay.
it must have been in a scoop or something that we read. But it says here, Max has officially unveiled that the first 2 episodes of Doom Patrol Season 4 Part 2 will premiere on the streaming service on Thursday, October 12th. New installments of Doom Patrol will drop over the course of 5 weeks, ending on November 9th, 2023. So we'll bring up the trailer, we'll watch through it one time, and then we'll break it down. Okay, I'm going
Yeah.
to set up, share my screen. Doom Patrol. You add it, Joe. Close
Got it.
captioning have been there. And we open with Madame Rouge talking to the Doom Patrol.
We are a fact superhero team known as the Doom
Doom
Patrol.
Patrol. And they all
Now,
bust out laughing.
who is that one? Who's that?
I can't remember. I don't think that's a different actress
That's
altogether.
I have no idea who that is. It's this girl, this woman with red hair. Because it's not Jane. We just saw Jane. It's
No.
not
And she's been in things
Rita.
before. Like I've seen
Has
her
she?
in things. I feel like she was in oh, I feel like she was in a couple things that I've seen, and I just can't remember any of it for the life of me. But I feel like she's been in other shows. I'm gonna look that
Other
up
shows.
after.
Gotcha. I was
Yeah, other
referring to
shows.
here. Like I
I don't
don't know
remember it
her
from
from
this
the show.
show at all. I don't remember it from her from this
Because
show at
she
all.
there's a point in the trailer where I think she grabs Jane's hand or maybe it was Cliff's hand. I don't know, but like who is this lady? What like
We have a
maybe
mystery woman, mystery redhead is what we're
it
gonna
could
call her.
possibly be she is somebody to keep like maybe she's a nurse. Maybe all of these guys have lost their memory and she is there to keep them from getting their memory back.
Or she
And
could have him in
Rouge
like she could have him some sort of mental.
something. Like I'm
Yeah.
thinking she may be more of a warden than a friend.
That is definitely a possibility there, Joe. And like they're all chatting with her. Like she's in the background laughing at
Yeah,
this assertion that
sure. As she
she
could be I don't know. Like I don't
doesn't sit right. Just doesn't.
it doesn't
And
sit right.
yeah. So
Mystery.
yeah,
We have a mystery. Yeah.
we get a cool shot of Larry
Yep.
and the Negative Man coming together. That's pretty
That's
cool. We
fun.
get Crazy Jane
Looking
talking
old.
about they've all lost their longevity.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
There's Rita. There's
Mr. Nobody making an appearance again.
I mean, these are just flashbacks.
Wait, maybe there is a possibility that do you know who this character is? Because I have no idea. Like there's
That I mean it's not Brainiac, but
no, it's not. It's
was
a
he was in the beginning of season 4, wasn't he? Wasn't he one of the
this
guys
could
at the
this could
resort?
be this could be somebody. Yeah, very well possible. Could be someone to do Mortis as well. Immortus. Uh, we get
Brandon
the
Mishamala. Love it.
Guatemala, which is awesome. Uh, who's this villain?
Yeah, that was the servant. I'm pretty sure that guy, the
The
one
same
green
guy.
guy. No, the green guy was like at the one resort that they ended up going to. He was his friend, servant, whatever, waiting on the brain to issue a report to kill whomever, and then he finally like fell in love and got
Oh,
whatever, and then this guy like screw you, and then like kills everybody.
oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah,
Okay, yeah, like I said, they're literally just showing clips
yeah.
from the past 3 seasons.
Going up against treacherous villains,
Yeah,
and they're just sitting around having a chat with each other. Uh, there, you can tell this is the end for our
oh yeah.
heroes here.
Maybe we got some Aquaman in here.
Yeah, we
the
have
water.
them here. You can see them aging. We see Larry with the
But
guy. Uh,
oh yeah,
can't remember his name, but
what's his name?
helped Immortus guy.
Black Blood or whatever his
Yes,
name was from Flash.
he's yeah. Bloodwork,
There we go, Bloodwork.
bloodwork. Yeah, we get see. This is why it's. I'm not sure what this is, but Cyborg has all his
Stuff back.
stuff back, and but Cliff still has the bad arm, so this has to be uh like in this season. There can't be a flashback here because it's
No,
current.
no, no,
So
no, no, no. Just when they were showing the villains they faced over the years, those were all flashbacks. The
yeah,
rest of it is scenes from here. That's
which
what
I'm
I was
interested
getting
to
at.
see how Cyborg got all his like metal parts back,
I mean, yeah, we'll see it.
and we get Crazy Jane driving crazily, which works out and kicking some ass. We have two Mr. Negatives, which I'm not
Yeah, so
sure.
I think there's a time travel thing involved. It has to be.
Yeah,
Has to be.
and we get one of them going into the other. We get Cliff's brain hooked up to a mortis there, and the butts are going crazy. We
And
get
the butts.
Cyborg holding a flaming sword, and his best friend holding his sonic cannon.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Looks like they're in the forest still, so
yeah, and
that's
they're like,
something.
all good things must come. All good things are doomed. And we get the
The
butts
butts.
attacking. I just love them fighting the butts and
Baton
flamethrower on the
Rouge.
butts.
Oh,
Oh,
look, there he is, right there.
you think he's going to be the main villain behind Immortus?
Because I don't know, he's dead, but doesn't mean he's dead. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
because we're talking about the chief
The chief,
here.
he's shown here.
Um, which I mean Timothy Dalton coming back. That's awesome. That's
I
amazing.
love Timothy Dalton.
Also, the fact
He's such
that
an underrated.
Michelle Rodriguez has been in the show since what season 2. I didn't expect her to stay as long as she did. Like
Same.
I expected
Same.
to be out by like this season. But
Now
anyways,
her and
besides
Rita
that,
had such a like intertwined story that it was easy to
sure.
see like going forward. The way they played that, it did work
But
quite
it's
well.
also easy to see to just get rid of. But no, the fact that we're getting the chief here could be a time travel thing. I already suggested it earlier.
Yes,
It
you are
could
right.
be him back as a like, hey, fuck you, I'm coming back because I need my immortality to save my daughter. Like, who knows? You know?
I'm really interested to see
Was
that.
it
He's walking though. He's walking, so this could be a way back flashback too.
it could be, but wasn't what was the one sorcerer's name? I can't remember his name. It's like Rick, not Rigby. It's
Oh yeah, will it be Kipling?
Willoughby. There we go,
Yeah.
Kipling. Maybe like is he
Could be
still
there. Could be
alive?
him right here. I think he might have been killed
That's
because
what
of the events that
because
happened.
I remember him going against what
The
the
bunny
rest of
rabbit.
them were doing. I just couldn't remember if he died or if he said he just GTFO'd.
I think he might have got turned into a rabbit. I'm not 100% sure. I'm really
Okay.
interested. Again, stuff
I
we got to
may
look
have to
up.
rewatch this season before this season. The back half.
I think I'm right there with you, Joe. We have Crazy Jane freaking out. We have some sort of like zombie killer. We get a bit of flashbacks.
Right there. Go back a second. Okay. When Jane holds the hand of.
Oh, okay. So,
Because is that? No, that's
that,
not the same one. That's not the same one.
but it
Never
could be
mind.
her grown up.
It could be her growing up. It could be her in her
Kay.
mind.
That could be Kay grown up. It really well could be.
Possible. Well, I thought she was Kay grown up.
I that's what I thought for the first few seasons, but after this, the first half of season 4, I'm not so sure anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're holding hands like Joe wanted.
Rita was fighting Rita there.
Yes.
Like, no, I'm sorry, not Rita fighting Rita. Rouge fighting Rouge.
Rouge fighting Rouge right there, yeah. Like Joe said, we get Cyborg fighting with the sick. We get Rita singing, not Rita, sorry, Rouge singing.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
And again, Cyborg fully suited. I got a feeling that his buddy's going to die, and that's what's going to put him back in.
I don't know. Maybe, which would suck. But
we don't see him anymore besides the one episode. So I say, and it's Doom Patrol. And I do love at the end there, Jane's. They're trying to give the pep talk. And
if Jane's giving the pep talk, we know we're in trouble.
Yes, which it's such a fun show, Joe. It's going to be nice to go out on a bang. I'll throw it to you. You don't think we're getting? I don't think it was officially canceled or not. It wouldn't be smart with another part of a season to go out, even if you're gonna cancel it.
Well, it's no different than Titans, where they didn't get canceled. They just like,
No,
hey, fourth season is our final season. Like and even that, like
you
having
had
four
the
seasons for a
showrunner.
show.
You had the showrunner for the season. Like, I have ideas for the fifth season. So again, they may hope for a difference, but let's hope they wrote a good ending for this show. Like
I
they
mean, if
do it
you
with
think back
Titans.
on it, every single season had a good ending.
I have no
Like it had a
complaint.
closure.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't, if they were doing another season, I'd watch it. I've been enjoying the show. Like the show has gotten better since the beginning. Definitely was better than Titans ever was.
Oh my god.
Um, but if it ends, great. Like they go out with a bang,
Yeah, and I agree with
literally.
you. I can't wait for this season to start. So like I said, we'll be covering this. I can't wait to talk about it. Content, Joe, content.
Woo!
Okay, listeners, we're going to take our first ad break of the evening. Listeners, we're an ad supported network. We don't pick the ad or volume. I'm going to do a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe, we got to get into the news. A little light, but still, we got to catch up on the news here. Blue Beetle keeps its love relationship with Weekends as it grossed 1.8 million on the sixth weekend at the U.S. box office. Excellent hold once again, as the film is one of which enjoys the weekends the most. Just a 28% drop from previous weekend, despite losing another 450 theaters. The DCEU film hit 69.8 million cumulative in the U.S., eyeing a 72 to 75 million run in the U.S.
It's not bad. I mean, it's
No, well, it's not great. Where's
we've
all in
talked
the
about
game?
before. Yeah, exactly.
Feels like all
Or
the game was slotting in, being like, "Yeah, that's not that's not good. It's
or
good for
or
them to
or
make."
Randy.
Oh, Randy.
Like it's one of those things where, I mean, correct. 72 to 75 is not great, but the fact that the movie did that, this was just, you have to remember, this was originally a HBO Max movie.
Yes, and they put a little extra money into this to like polish up the VFX and get it more, I guess, feature film
Yeah,
ready.
yeah,
But
and I still enjoy it.
really enjoy it, Joe. Like good watchability. Like I watched it a second time. Good watchability to that. I'm glad a welcome addition, even if it's not going to be, even if the character's going over to DCU, is still a welcome addition if it is a DCEU movie.
Exactly.
Uh, so yeah, just take all the money it gets. It is hitting digital in a couple days, so I don't think there's
Oh,
going to
was
be
it a
much
couple days?
more. Yeah, I don't think there's much more going to be added to this. Justice League War World will officially begin streaming on HBO Max October 23rd. Uh, you can go listen to my review that I did with Phil, Unfiltered on Twitter, talking about this. My suggestion instead of watching it, because it is a rough.
Really?
Yeah, it's
I have it over there on my shelf, and I haven't watched it yet.
it
Only because I just don't have time. But was it really that
the
bad?
the non spoiler stuff I can throw out there for you is it uh, just jumps right in there. Like there's no, you have to watch, they really lean hard on that you watch the end credit scene of the previous film, and then basically did some headcanon of your own of, wonder what's going to happen to him. And they just pick up. So that was a complaint. Some of the stories
I
are
actually still haven't watched
enjoyable.
the previous film either, so maybe that's
Yeah, so you'd be completely lost, Joe, if you start watching the film. You'd be like, "What is what? Like, give me a intro scene to set this up to tell me what's going on here." But three cool stories, I will say,
okay.
interesting separate stories. But the third act is complete and utter nonsense. Like you're just as paired with the course for this universe, a lot of things have happened off screen, or a lot of plans were hatched off screen that you know nothing about that have been hatched for a while. And
Yeah.
again, it's frustrating. It doesn't make much sense, and there's a glimmer of hope there's a Easter eggs at the very end that's worth trugging through, I guess. And there's a
Okay.
cool Batman aspect of it that's enjoyable.
Okay. I
Yeah,
will watch it.
I
It's. I
think
still
you'll
need to
enjoy the
watch.
separate. I think you'll enjoy the three separate stories of the heroes. I think you'll enjoy that part of the story because they allude to that in the trailer. But the overall like 3-act story, you're gonna be like, especially when you get the third act, you're like, this is utter
Bonkers.
bonkers. But again, you'll need to watch it if you want to watch the next one coming up, the Crisis. So
Okay.
yeah,
I
the
mean,
Crisis.
I am, and I'm looking at the shelf right now, 2, maybe 3 movies behind. So
You don't
because
need to have watched.
I didn't watch Supergirl. I didn't watch that one. And I do watch them all. Like I think I will watch them all eventually.
Yes, same way
Um,
with the previous universe as well. At
at least
times,
with the previous universe, I rewatched everything
yeah.
before the Dark Side War came out.
Lot of rewatchability
A
to
lot
that
those were
too.
good, and
Yeah.
those from my remembrance, you didn't have you didn't have to headcanon things in between.
No.
They actually did a really good job of, 1, telling you what happened, and 2, explain the stories. I remember us talking about, oh, which movie was it? The Green Lantern movie?
Yeah. Green Lantern being
Uh,
wearing my power.
and oh, well, here is Green Arrow being a Justice League member on, and Vixen being on the base. When did
Also,
they
here's the
become?
Watchtower.
Yeah, when they become full-fledged members? You know,
This was
like,
all from the Long Halloween second part in credit scene where the couple of the other heroes come to meet Batman.
yeah,
So you go from that to the next one being like, okay, here the league's established, Batman, but in think about this, in 3 episodes in Justice League the Animated Series, they have found a way to set it up and have the Watchtower explain and all that, and you couldn't do that in a couple movies. They went the route of going, everyone has their separate stuff before we get to Justice League, kind of route, but then they just said, all right, we're going to do a lot of stuff off screen. Whereas the previous
yeah.
one started with we're the Justice League, and then they went off on some of their own adventures. So
Let me ask you
again,
this: would you be okay if they put out a comic bridging these movies?
I would be okay as a fan, but I don't. I think still think that's lazy
It's sure, yes, it's
for the
lazy
anime
because you
for people
didn't.
that aren't going to read it for
Correct.
just the animation people. And Joe is just like, I could pick up Batman Under the Red Hood, turn it on. I don't have any previous knowledge of anything, and there's a story that flows for 3 acts, like very
Yes,
well. So like there is a
still
way to
one of the
do
better
some of
ones
this
out
stuff.
there.
There's still a way to do some of this stuff. And again, this was so frustrating because they rebooted the universe and they didn't tie much into the previous rebooting. Like they didn't show anything of the Flash seeing what he did before. Because I'm under
I
the
think the
assumption that's the same.
closest one you had was the Constantine short.
Yes, and that was more wrapping up the
Correct.
Apocalypse War
And
because
then making it, bringing you into the new universe. Yeah.
yeah, and he essentially looked like what you would assume his character would look like in this new DC animated form, the way their animated universe characters are. But
Yeah.
again, it's hit and miss for me with this universe. I'm gonna obviously watch the Crisis event. There are some of the films I like. I just thought a lot of this stuff happened off screen, so that would have been my critique. Again, check out. We talk about it a lot more uh, on the podcast episode on the Animation Nation. So, Joe, let's get into the next news item. And this one was shared to me by you, which is DC
Oh yeah.
Studio lands permanent home at Warner Brothers Studio, Leavesden, as part of massive UK expansion. So, this was a big story on Variety, so I'm going to go through some of this now. Warner Brothers Discovery is giving DC Studios a primary production hub at its UK-based TV and film studio Warner Brothers Studio Leavesden, the home of HBO's House of Dragon, amid a sprawling plan to expand the location by more than 50% capacity and 10 sound stages, but still can't afford not to agree to pay the actors, Joe. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Uh-huh.
The expansion, announced Thursday by the David Zaslav-led media giant, will include an addition of 400,000 square feet of production and support space, and increase the total stage count from 19 to 29, and overall space from 1.4 million square feet to 1.78 million. WBD is scheduled to break ground on the project in the second quarter of 2024, and it's expected to be completed in 2027. The DCU might be dead by then. Who knows? Even WB. But it's still promising. DC Studios co-chairman and CEO James Gunn and Peter Safran will consult with the Lives and expansive team to ensure that their ideas are incorporated into the new facilities. That sounds pretty good.
It sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But you made a joking comment about DC Universe being maybe not a thing, and as much as I hate to disagree with you, I can't.
No.
Like, because of what's happening right now, and because of the way that the media is being presented to us anymore, nobody has to go to theaters. Like, the theater
No.
experience is dead. So unless they are able to come up with something new, as in like, oh, here it'll go to theaters for a month, and then it's going to go exclusively to digital, like you have to rent it or buy it for 5 months or something, and that's where they're going to make their money. And then after a 6-month period, then it hits the streaming service. Like, you can't rely on the theater making you money anymore. That business is dead. COVID killed it.
I think it's a case-by-case basis, because you have Barbie, for one. I was going to just say Barbie and Aquaman 2 were filmed in this place as well. And it's all about, I think it's on a case-by-case basis. I think there's times where you need to cut your losses and pull out a movie from the theater instead of keeping wasting your time and doing the digital. Like Joe said, getting the sales on the digital first before putting it on your streaming service platform. But there are there's deals in place. WBD has a deal with Crave TV, Sportsnet here, or not Sportsnet, CTV, that they have to give them their new films onto their streaming service within a certain amount of days after it goes to theater.
And that can be
So,
easily adjusted when need be. Like, yeah, of course, exactly.
which WBD is not
Contracts,
flowing in it right
well,
now.
no, but contracts can be evolved and be like, hey, this is the new contract. Let's go ahead and go over it. Do you agree to this? And of course, they can say no, and then they can pull out. Like, it's things can be worked out. It's just that theaters, and you are right, it is a case by case basis. Barbie literally made $1 billion. Oppenheimer is right on the cusp of making $1 billion, and those are two wonderful movies. Whereas Flash, who should have made a crap ton of money, barely did anything, because they know that movie's already on HBO Max. And
the big thing with me too, Joe, is we have people here like the COO of Warner Brothers Discovery saying, like, we are proud to not only be growing our productions in Livingston and making it the main hub for DC Studios. Like, they're speaking about DC Studios quite glowingly, like it's something they're gonna.
And I
So
think
that gives me positive.
It will be good. Yeah, I think this definitely is great. It's no different than all of the CW shows filming in either Vancouver or Atlanta. Like, they have their set places. This having a set place to where they can record their movies, great. That's gonna be awesome.
Agreed.
But don't put all your eggs in one basket, because these, like, Superman Legacy could come out, and I'm being optimistic here. It could come out and not do as great as we all think it will. Like,
yeah, that's the other thing. They better hope that Superman Legacy is a huge hit, because
you can have Legacy could stumble. I don't think. I mean, honestly, if Legacy stumbles, that's going to be a problem for everything else down the line. But if it did, and say the next movie comes out, which we don't know what it is, but say the Brave and the Bold is the next movie, and that, like, does gangbusters because it's Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to what they're doing now, where they're getting the wrong impression from Barbie, they could get the wrong impression from Batman and think, all right, so we're gonna keep going this route. I don't know. I'm as much as I am excited for this, I am worried that they're putting all this money into this, and it's just going to crash and burn.
A lot of trepidation if you're a longtime DC fan. We just want to see the plan, at least the first chapter of it, come to fruition, and then we get to judge it from there.
Exactly.
Okay, Joe. Uh, I thought this was of notice because James Gunn shared this status. Just received this stunningly gorgeous absolute edition of Superman for all seasons. One of my favorite Superman stories and a huge influence on Legacy. A strangely perfect bookend with All Star Superman. The late great Tim Sale's artwork and Hanson's watercolor work have never looked better, nor have Clark and Mom Pa. Joseph Loeb's elegant, confident story still sings. Do you think he's going to borrow or like pull heavy from All Star Superman
You mean for all seasons? You mean
for Legacy? Yeah,
Oh, for All Star, not
yeah,
all season. All Star, not all seasons.
all seasons.
Okay, I just because both were mentioned in the tweet.
Well, he said in a strangely perfect booking with All Star Superman.
He probably could pull from both,
Both, yeah.
and they both are. It's been a long time since I've read either, and they're both great stories. Like I love them both. I have them both on my shelf here.
All Star.
I don't have the absolute editions, obviously, but
No.
I've got them both up here, and I don't know. Like it'd be great stories to pull from.
Still, I thought it was cool. I like when he shares, just giving creators a bit of spotlight there in the comic world.
Yeah.
Okay, we got something that I thought was rather interesting, which is a trailer for a comic, Batman Gargoyle of Gotham, written and drawn by Raphael Grappa. I know we're getting more of these, but I still thought this one looked rather cool and reminded me a little bit of that CGI Batman show that we got for one season.
You know, I didn't actually watch this trailer because I didn't realize it was a trailer.
Yeah, it is a trailer, and it has just the cool thing about when Legion and Abyss, and you have Batman driving the Batmobile. I thought the Batmobile looked pretty cool as well.
Okay.
Just driving into Gotham, and you get him standing over the bat or on the Batmobile, basically with one leg pose, which I thought was a little odd. But again, it just reminded me of that Batman, just with the animation style they chose, and he just infiltrates a warehouse.
I see it. Okay.
Yeah. So again, I really thought it was a cool little thing. You should check that out on Twitter. I'm never going to call it X. On Twitter,
Nobody will.
it's on the Batman handle.
And trailers for a comic is not unheard of. I
No.
believe the Massive Verse books
Yes.
have had trailers
Just
that have been helped put pumping stuff out,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just the first one to come to mind. I'm sure there was plenty of others.
This was one of the longer
That's
ones
pretty
I've
cool,
seen
though.
with DC in a while.
That's
Like
pretty
I
cool.
think I saw one for Metal, maybe, but that could have been a
I believe so.
fandom thing as well. So again, there was a lot of things coming around at that point. I still thought it was pretty cool. And another thing that I thought was kind of cool was shared by Joe Quinos. A closer look at Batgirl 89 from the upcoming Batman 89 comic. What'd you think about this, Joe?
Interesting, and it also kind of forgot that Barbara Gordon was in Batman 89, the comic.
Mm-hmm.
I read it. I finished it. It was fine. This looks kind of cool. I mean, it looks just literally like Tim Burton's or Michael Keaton's suit.
Yeah.
Just obviously different symbol.
Different. The mask reminded me more of the Gotham mask.
Okay. Like I'm
Ulster cone like shape. Yeah.
It's one of those things where, okay, you got my interest. I might read this in a month or two once it hits DC Universe Unlimited.
Again, there's a what if universe where there is a Batgirl to Michael Keaton's Batman in a few movies down the line. I haven't checked out the first comic, so I don't know if I'll check out this.
Not the first comic isn't bad. It was really cool to see Billy D. Williams, Harvey Dent become Two-Face. So like it's not terrible.
No.
but it's also one of those books that by the end of it, like the last issue was kind of. Let me put it this way: the Batman '89 comic was definitely better than the Superman '77 or '78. That one
I've
was just
been
weird.
I've really enjoyed the Batman 66 comics. I gotta say.
Okay, and I
I
haven't
did enjoy those.
honestly. I'm all for all of this. Like, if they wanted to do a, I mean, they've done the Wonder Woman '77. If they
Yeah.
wanted to do Batman '95 to continue on Val Kilmer's Batman, or even Batman '97 to continue on George Clooney's,
If
or
there's a
even
fan base out there.
there is, like, you can even do a Superman Returns from the 2006. Like, just you could do all this stuff in comic book form, and I've been lobbying for a Superman '92 with Nicolas Cage forever.
Ooh.
So,
Again, I would love to
or
see that as an
'95,
animated
whatever year it
project
was.
as well.
Oh yeah,
And
same.
I'd love to see Bryce come back as a Kingdom Come for a like HBO Max series. You could do a Kingdom Come type storyline, depending on what James Gunn has planned, of course.
Who knows?
So, Joe, the final thing here, the WGA and AMPTP have reached a tentative agreement. It will take a while for things to be set in stone. The writers have proved their strength, making the studios come to their senses after a staggering 145 days striking. Now it's time to pay the actors. What do you think about
100%.
this announcement and the potential for the actors to now reach an agreement as well?
I think that's awesome. And I know everybody has been all for, like, my social medias have been, WGA strong, SAG strong, all this stuff. I will say I've seen more SAG positivity posts than I have WGA, and they've been
Hmm.
out longer. It was almost like for the last month or two, people kind of forgot that the writers were on strike.
And the crazy thing about that, Joe, I remember when after went on strike for a little while, the rumor was that SAG could cut an agreement and leave WGA out in the cold, and they would have to take whatever they could get because. So
Yeah,
I'm really happy that the writers got signed first,
I
and
do.
hopefully
I
this
well,
is
they
a good
should have,
step.
because
Step.
they've been out
Oh,
longer.
100%. But
I also think that a lot of because the last few weeks there was some debacles with a few of the what's the daytime TV
yeah,
shows, um trying to come back with Outriders,
didn't work
and
out that well. Didn't work
did
out that
not
well.
work out well. For, like, they got crucified practically.
You'll see them coming back strong now. Those talk shows
Oh,
with the writers
100%.
coming back. But again, some of those I did enjoy, like Last Week Tonight, and there's Seth Meyers one as well. Those are ones that I enjoy. So I'm glad to have the writers back. Just in general, they should be. They're only asking for such a small, minuscule, same as the actors percentage of
Mhm.
the profits. Like in most of the professional sports I watch, is 50-50 for the profits coming in. 50% goes to the players, 50% goes to the owners.
Okay.
Again, you think it'd be the same thing here. Profits coming in, 50% go to the studio, and 50% go to uh, the writers, actors, like everyone else.
Well, and that's the thing. I think it already is. I think 50% is going to the studios and all them, but then the other 50% is going into the writers, the actors,
Yeah, you almost need a percentage for
the
everyone.
VG, the VFX guys, the sound guys. Like, it's going, that 50% is getting cut up more
Yeah,
than it should.
yeah.
So,
So again, we're really happy with that. Joe, let's take our final ad break before we get into our Smallville retro recaps. For this week, listeners, we're an ad-supported network. We don't pick the ads or the volume. We'll give you a quick 3 count to adjust your volume, and we'll be right back in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Okay, Joe. Smallville's back. Retro recaps. Season 3. Whispers. What do you think about this episode?
a couple thoughts. I forgot about this episode. I totally forgot that Clark had gone blind because
Mm-hmm.
of Kryptonite Rock, of course. I also forgot that he didn't have his hearing ability yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think, like, what was it? I don't know. It just, I felt like this was earlier. Like, he'd already gotten his
Yes.
powers earlier. But this was a really good episode. I really, really enjoyed it. There are some dumb moments, but that's you gotta have that with everything. But like this is a solid third episode like in a row that was really good.
Yes, I've really enjoyed this episode as well, Joe, and I forgot about it until I remember I until we got to the point where he couldn't hear. Then I remembered the episode. I'm like, I'm a sucker for these episodes where he's learning his abilities.
Yeah,
Again, I was like you. I thought he had already known. Like we've already
he had already
seen
gotten it. Yeah,
shown spots where he did learn this, but I did like how he did. And the glasses look such a small little thing, but such a like a cool little Easter egg. Even back at the end, you're like,
yep.
oh, Clark glasses. Look, learn how to wear glasses. Uh, I enjoyed that. The coolest thing for me in the episode, though, was him overhearing the phone call and then the conversation between Chloe and Lionel, and then going to Lex about it, and then Chloe getting fired for it. I don't know
Well,
why,
not
but
only
I
Chloe
laughed
getting
at that.
fired, but her dad getting fired,
Yes,
and this is kind of the big. I mean, it's I don't want to say it's the beginning of Lionel's takedown, but it definitely helped facilitate, if I remember correctly, Lionel's
and
takedown.
the beginning of Lionel's change as a character too.
Yeah.
Or I think it is. It might not be. It might be fake for a while more, and then
I
real at some
also
point.
I also was kind of it was one of those things where Clark gets blinded, and I know he doesn't trust Lionel, but in my thought process was like, hey, go to Lionel and just talk to him about having
Being blind.
fake not eyesight.
Yeah, Lionel, can you give me some tips?
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I did enjoy this episode. Again, sucker for any episode where he learns a new ability that ultimately gets me right away.
Yeah, it was really good. Also, just watching this episode, and when Lex first shows up, it was one of those things where Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling were like the perfect casting for these two characters at this time. Like this, I feel like this episode did a really good job of showing how strongly these guys are in these characters.
The last couple episodes, because again, with Clark having to turn down Lex when he's like basically begging him to help.
Yeah,
Just go that's great. I want to give shout out to Pete, his mother getting kidnapped, of course.
yeah,
Just out of nowhere. That
yep.
again, it wouldn't be if it wasn't for Pete. It wouldn't be Pete unless it wasn't out of nowhere. Joe, I think that wraps up our night. A little slow on the news side, but we got that Doom Patrol trailer, and we're gonna have Doom Patrol episodes in a
Next
week.
week.
We won't be back next Monday. We will be back next Thursday at our
Yes, sir.
our new date, same time. Hopefully, you will
Hopefully.
see the YouTube link before of that. Again, listeners, thank you so much for joining us, Joe. I guess I'll see you next Thursday.
Yes, sir.
Bye, everyone.